Yes, we're in Wadesboro, North Carolina. You're just not going to believe this one. When I first heard the story, this is K-9 Blitz. When I first heard the story, I was like, something just doesn't seem right. So I've been looking at videos and reading articles and putting it together, and just when you thought it was bad enough, it gets worse. So we're going to follow it beginning to where we're at right now. I'm pretty sure this is the end of it. Nothing's going to come of it, and they're going to go about their day. So this is where we are at. Also, while I'm thinking about it, 80% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you got your laptop, click the button, and we'll move along. So we're in Wadesboro with K-9 Blitz.
And just hours ago, we learned Wadesboro's interim police chief has retired. This all in the fallout of a beloved K-9 being shot and killed in the line of duty. The town manager says Chief Jason Eschert informed him of his intent to retire earlier this week after serving 3 months in his interim role. He says his officers and town officials received violent threats after K-9 Blitz's death. Blitz was shot last month after a tragic stop led to a chase with the suspect. Wadesboro police say Blitz disobeyed command and attacked police officers. Some in the community expressed outrage, saying Blitz wasn't trained in apprehensions, but rather narcotics. No charges were filed in Blitz's death.
And of course, leave it to the news to be very vague. If you only watch that, you'll probably come away with, wow, the suspect must have killed a dog. And you would be incorrect.
The interim police chief in the town of Wadesboro has retired following fallout surrounding police shooting and killing a K-9. Today, the town announced that interim police chief Jason Eschert stepped down effective Friday. The town says Eschert blamed his departure on what he referred to as threats of violence directed at other police officers and town officials following the death of K-9 Blitz on April 2nd. Officials told us then that Blitz was shot and killed by his handler following a car chase with a suspect in Anson and Montgomery.
Shot and killed by his handler. Can that be correct? Spoiler alert, that is incorrect.
Counties. No charges were filed after an investigation into the dog's death, but 2 officers resigned after the shooting.
So, you'd think there'd be some more to that story, and you would be correct.
A K-9 that died in the line of duty was shot by an officer. Good evening, I'm Joe Bruno in for Scott Wickersham.
I'm Erica Bryant. We told you yesterday that K-9 Blitz died during an incident at the end of a chase with Wadesboro police. Only Channel 9's Hunter Signs talked to the man who previously owned that K-9. Hunter, he says that K-9 Blitz never should have been on this case.
Yeah, Erica, he says that K-9 Blitz was actually trained for narcotics and tracking, but should have never been sent to chase and apprehend a suspect. And tonight we have learned that the K-9 ended up being shot and killed by one of his fellow officers.
Now it's one of his fellow officers. And that, again, is incorrect.
He was sweet. My wife loved him to death. She would go and sit in the kennels with him and bring him out and play with him.
Josh Harrington was the proud owner of K-9 Blitz, a retired drug dog that he says he donated to the Wadesboro Police Department in January as they rebooted their K-9 unit.
They were not interested in bite work.
Not interested in bite work.
They were not interested in apprehension.
Not interested in apprehension.
And I said, perfect.
Harrington says Blitz was the perfect fit and was only to be used as a drug and tracking dog.
Everybody understood that the dog was not to be used for apprehension.
They don't care. They do not care. When they get their hands up. Also, I would like to note that trained dogs, these dogs will typically run $7 to $10 grand, and then you got thousands of dollars in training and vest and protective stuff for them. The cops don't care because they don't pay for that. Yes, this dog was donated, but the dog should have been trained.
But Wednesday morning, Wadesboro police say K-9 Blitz and his handler were trying to catch a wanted man. Blitz grabbed a hold of the suspect, causing these injuries. But moments later, Blitz was killed in the line of duty. Channel 9 has since learned a Wadesboro officer was the one who shot K-9 Blitz, but we are still working to verify what exactly happened in the moments leading up to his death.
Yes, they are keeping that tight to the vest, and only one shot at this dog. That is a lie. Wait till you just wait.
Gross negligence from the top to the bottom.
Harrington claims the handler and K-9 Blitz were not certified as a team. It's not required in North Carolina, but is highly recommended.
It's not required in North Carolina that the handler and the dog are certified as a team. Then if they're not certified as a team, typically the dogs go by the handler's commands. If they're not certified as a team, they haven't been through training, then they're just random getting dogs and turning them loose on you. I'm just saying, but that wouldn't matter to them because that's one of their dogs. I'm just saying it's wrong on all levels.
They had the dog for 60-something days. They did not have enough time to even go through a training course.
Harrington is remembering K-9 Blitz as a stellar dog and companion and wants transparency on what happened.
I am upset that they tried to pin this on an innocent dog that was put into a situation that he should have never been in. Blitz should have never been put in a situation from the start. Blitz did nothing wrong.
Now, we did leave 2 voicemails for Wadesboro Interim Police Chief Jason Essert, as well as emailing him earlier today, trying to get his side of this story and also to ask if that K-9 handler on his department was properly trained or certified, and to ask him if there is going to be an investigation into this. But so far, we have not heard back from him. Live tonight, Hunter Sines, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
I'm sure we will get more information and get to the bottom of this. Hunter, thank you.
Thank you, Hunter. They think they're going to get more information and get to the bottom. Good luck with that. So, here is a little more to the story.
Tonight, a newly released audio recording is raising serious questions in Wadesboro. It's in connection to the death of K-9 officer Blitz, who was killed in the line of duty back in April. Very little has come out from this incident until now. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard has more details, and this story that you'll only see exclusively here on WCNC Charlotte.
I spoke with former Interim Chief Jason Essert, who confirmed it is him speaking on the recording we obtained. He says he was forced to be silent, but he always knew the truth would come out. The death of K-9 Officer Blitz has left a lasting wound here in Wadesboro, and now new audio has many calling for answers and accountability.
I can't watch the video anymore. It kills me, literally. I have cried.
That voice belonging to now former interim Wadesboro Police Chief Jason Essert. The Wadesboro Police Department originally stated Blitz was killed during a suspect apprehension, but in the recording...
And that's all they would say, suspect apprehension, which made most people think that the suspect killed the dog, and they knew that's what people were going to say. They didn't realize all the backlash that was going to come out and the information that was going to come out.
Essert is acknowledging deeper failures within the department.
I spoke to that other officer. I looked him straight in the face and said, I wanted to charge you, you murdered that dog.
Kevin Stewart attended a meeting on May 1st after being axed by Blitz handler. That's where he captured the recording.
A tragic situation has caused a lot of heartache and it's given law enforcement a black eye.
I also obtained video that includes a statement from Officer Kayla Wright, Blitz's handler, about what happened that day.
Blitz was caught off the bite with a toy.
Now, this is the handler. Remember? They said initially that the handler shot the dog, and then they said another one of the officers shot the dog. This is the handler, and listen to this one.
He accidentally grabbed my hand, not knowing, and he came running back to me after the second charge. He was not aggressive, and he was trained to return to his handler. His command.
He was trained to return to his handler. They said that the handler and the dog weren't trained together. Even though this is supposed to be a drug dog, they use toys, and they need to take all these dogs away from all these people. Anyway, to show that they're doing a good job, and then they kind of play with them and take the stress level down after they've done a good job. This dog was running back to her. They were likely screaming and hollering at the dog. The dog comes running back to her, and here's where we're at.
And it began running back to me. At this time, many rounds went off in mine and Blitz's direction.
Many rounds went off in the handler and Blitz's direction. You know how you heard them say one of the officers? No, it was not only that, the dog is running in the direction of her, and they are shooting in her and the dog's direction. Let's remember, these are the same fucking people that tell you they're the only ones that should have firearms.
This time Blitz was hit and screaming. As I was yelling for him, Blitz ran off.
Wright, who was ultimately fired from the department.
Also, I read another article that said they had tased and pepper sprayed the dog too.
It says what happened to Blitz was unexcusable, also echoing the many failures leading to his death.
Blitz should not be gone today.
I called Eschert about the newly released audio.
I'm all about that, truth and transparency, but while I was employed with the town, I wasn't allowed to talk, and now I'm thankful that, the truth is coming out.
Eschert says he tried to charge the officer who shot Blitz, but he alleges the Montgomery DA told him he wasn't charging an officer for shooting a dog.
Wasn't charging an officer with shooting a dog. I'm going to read this right quick. I'm going to break this down for you pesky citizens and what you're going to get if you shoot and kill a police dog. In North Carolina, killing a police dog would likely result in charges for a Class H felony. Specifically, if you know or have reason to know that the animal is a law enforcement animal and willfully kill it, you will be charged with a Class H felony. Additionally, if you maliciously kill any animal, including a police dog, you could also be guilty of a Class H felony. So, what does a Class H felony, what penalties does it carry? In North Carolina, a Class H felony typically carries a sentence ranging from 4 to 25 months in prison. However, the actual sentence may vary depending on several factors, including a specific crime committed, the offender's prior criminal history, and the judge's discretion. Additionally, alternative sentencing options like probation or intermediate punishment may be available, particularly for Class H and I felonies. So, that's what you're going to get, but they're not charging them with killing a dog. Just killed a dog. No, then that has to be across. Take the dogs from all of them.
Eschert emphasized the importance of transparency, but some residents say that transparency should have started long ago.
This is a major concern, and it's not going away anytime soon. I don't think Wadesboro is going to heal until we get to the bottom of this thing.
Well, Eschert is now retired from the Wadesboro Police Department. The city released a statement saying it was due to threats following Blitz's death. His attorney releasing a cease and desist on false representation and narrative, saying that has nothing to do with his resignation. Back to you.
So, any more details?
Concerns are now rising within the Wadesboro community, including a growing lack of trust with the police department. So this all comes following the announcement from interim police chief Jason Eschert that he is now retiring after just a few months on the job. Well, Queen City News reporter Jen Cardone has the very latest from the town about staffing and support.
The people of Wadesboro deserve the truth, and not PR stunts, not cowards in uniforms, and definitely not a chief on loyal to his paycheck that is owed.
It's thoughts like this brought up at last week's Wadesboro Town Council meeting that has officers concerned for their own safety while doing their job.
We don't feel safe. The morale's at an all-time low.
They don't feel safe. Morale's at an all-time low.
We are operating in this severely understaffed environment, which puts additional strain on every shift.
Additional strain on every shift. That's the nature of law enforcement. And you have to have a thick skin to be in law enforcement. If you don't have a thick skin, if you can't take people, because they will scream and holler at you, but if you can't take that back, then go to fuck and drive for Uber.
And leaves no room for rest, back up, or proactive.
No room for rest, get over it. That's kind of the whole, when you go through the training, you even before the training, if you don't research this shit, if you don't know somebody in law enforcement, I'm just saying, go do a ride along and talk to them and you'll see.
Policing.
Officer Cody Teague went up to the podium and says this adds additional stress no matter how hard officers try to build relationships.
Officers are afraid to make necessary decisions because of the risk of being scrutinized, punished.
No, they're afraid to be held accountable because everybody has a cell phone now. Back in the day, there wasn't all these cell phones and shit, and well, they're the cops, and they're law enforcement, just take their word for it. Not anymore. People are on the, if I can't see the recording, it did not happen.
publicly vilified as always looting.
This scrutiny has been magnified after K-9 Blitz was killed in the line of duty last month. Social media comments adding to it.
The fact of the matter is, you may not like me or the town council, but the bottom line is, these folks are protecting us.
They're not.
And just not right.
I was able to speak on the phone with the former interim police chief, Jason Ashford, and he says that after 20 months of being with the Wadesboro Police Department, he decided that retirement was best for him and his family. Jen Cardone, Queen City News.
All right, thank you, Jen. And just minutes ago, Queen City News received, look, this statement right here on what Wadesboro officials...
And she even knows this whole statement is a joke because listen to her tone.
...are calling their vision of police leadership. That's a quote. They outlined how the town's former police chief is stepping in next month to take the position on an interim basis. So officials also say they want the next chief to be someone who leads with integrity, communicates with transparency, and is committed to community engagement and officer development.
That is the last thing they're about. So let's see if we can finally get to the bottom of the K-9. K-9 Blitz was shot 31 times by fellow officers in Wadesboro, North Carolina. Police Chief Jason Asher defends actions amid changing narratives and misuse of drug search dog. Now this one's going to be low, so I'm going to turn the volume up.
Beyond are demanding answers tonight after a police K-9 was shot on the job. Thank you for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Morgan Fogarty.
And I'm Gary Broad. It happened last week during a chase across county lines. WCCB Charlotte's Casey Jones was at a heated town hall meeting where the chief addressed the incident for the first time publicly.
K-9 Blitz was donated to this police department, and about 60 days later, he was dead. Now citizens are demanding a clear, transparent investigation into exactly what happened.
Heel.
Josh Harrington says he breeds and imports police K-9s. He donated Blitz to the Wadesboro Police Department in January with the promise he'd only be used for drug searches.
He told me that they were broke and could not afford a K-9.
Wadesboro police used him in at least 2 drug searches, and then police used Blitz in a suspect chase from Anson to Montgomery County last week.
She let go of the suspect and went for...
I'm not sure what this is about. The video is no longer available. I just put this up.
His toy accidentally biting her hand because she put herself in that position to get bit. After that, Chief Escher said that they had to shoot the dog to get him off of the handler.
They had to shoot the dog to get the dog off of the handler. So when they're shooting at the dog, they're shooting at the handler by default. They should get the same jail sentence anybody else is going to get.
Harrington says this video shows Blitz moments before he was shot dozens of times.
The story has changed about 7 different times until officers started talking to other officers and deputies within the
Yes, the dogs are in the house and one of them's barking.
county that there were 31 shots fired.
31.
In a heated town hall meeting Monday night, citizens called for the chief's resignation, but the chief says Blitz had a history of misconduct, which he says Harrington didn't tell him about.
K-9 Blitz was...
Who are you going to believe at this point? This story has changed so many times. I'm believing none of them.
given to Mr. Harrington with the understanding that he would only be used to be bred.
Chief Escher says he's investigating the shooting of the dog.
I am sorry at the loss of that dog, and more will come out later that I cannot discuss here.
Harrington says he wants answers about why Blitz was used in a chase and then shot.
Justice for Blitz, people being held accountable and transparency being clear to the citizens, and his remains being turned over to the appropriate owners so that he can be honored and have the funeral that he deserves.
Chief Escher says he reached out to the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office and the State Bureau of Investigation for the next steps on what to do in this case. He also says there's body camera video, but North Carolina law does not allow it to be.
North Carolina law is total bullshit. You pay for the cops, you pay for them to wear the body cameras, you pay for the cars, you pay for the dash cams, you pay for the storage, you pay for the additional storage, you pay for all that fucking shit, but they will put it behind a court order and a paywall. It's bullshit. That shit should be streamed 24/7.
released without a court order. In Wadesboro, Casey Jones, WCCB News.
Thank you, Casey. Anyway, I'm just saying, this is ridiculous. K-9 Blitz, rest in peace, buddy. They need to take all them dogs. Anyway, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Also, again, 87% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, get your laptop, click the button, and we'll move along. Let me know what you think about this one, and I'm out.